Megan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio,
where we take a marquee tour of the best Walt Disney World attraction signs.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm really excited about
Me
this.
too.
It's so silly, but it is so fun.
I know, it's one of those little things that we really love about the Disney parks.
Yeah, it's in the details.
It's in the details, and it's in this really cool design.
Yes.
Because these theme park attraction signs are trying to embody the essence of the ride in some kind of way.
Yeah, trying to get you to come in, maybe.
Yes, right. They have to be like a welcome sign. So there's a lot that
but
goes
tell the
into
story.
it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of thoughts in one project, and
Yeah.
there's a bunch of iconic ones and a bunch of great ones that are to come on our lists. But before we dive into our tour, we wanted to thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
If you're on a listening platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you so much for listening, and we would love it if you could leave us a review for this episode to let us know that you enjoyed the show. And if you would like to see the visual version of the podcast and see our smiling faces discussing some of these amazing Walt Disney World attraction signs, then you should also visit our YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co.
Yes, and if you are thinking about taking any kind of trip, whether it be a Disney trip, a cruise with any cruise line or Universal trip even, then please send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com, because I am a free-to-you travel agent who can get you the same price you can get yourself online, or I can do better. A lot of times I get a better deal than what my clients can find online, and you get free trip t-shirts, because the place you travel to will pay me a commission even though they're giving you the same rate you would have gotten yourself. So you're helping a small business, and then I give back to you by making free family trip shirts for you.
Yes. Some of my favorite shirts that I have gotten from you, gotten from the Neverland Navigation print shop, have been like attraction logos that are usually, basically the same attraction logos that are on the sign. And so, though, if you've got a favorite, attraction sign or park sign that you want to do for visits, then that would be a very fun shirt. But honestly, shirts are a fun way to commemorate any kind of trip.
Yes,
so it's awesome.
And make it a great picture.
Absolutely, the pictures and the trip shirts are some of my favorite pictures we get to see.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Disney is exceptional at creating attraction signs, so I had a really hard time picking.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, it was hard to kind of whittle them down.
And this is going to be one of those things where you're going to say something and I'm going to be like, dang it, I can't believe I forgot that one.
I think I'm going to do the same.
Yeah,
you're going to say one and I'm going to be like, how did I not think
Yes,
of that?
Exactly.
I kind of wanted to start the conversation, if it's okay with you, with extinct. Do you have any extinct?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't
bygone?
think I went there. Let's see. I normally do. I'm normally the one that's like, yeah, I named something from the 80s. My top 10 list does not include an extinct attraction. Got you.
I've got a couple that I'm going to rattle off.
Yeah, let's talk about those.
That just stand out to me from my memory of them. And well, I'll see if you agree with any of them, or if they bring any other extinct attraction kind of signs to mind.
Okay.
All right. The first one that I actually wanted to talk about was a ride that doesn't make any of our lists very often, but it was Alien Encounter over at Tomorrowland.
If we did a worst rides list, then it would make a list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, divisive attractions. It would definitely be up there.
Yeah.
But it did have an incredible sign.
Very cool sign.
Very cool sign. It glowed in the dark with like this eerie green glow to the words Alien Encounter. And it had that steampunk brass and steel kind of combination that Tomorrowland was really embracing in the 90s and 2000s. So it's a relic of its time, but it reflects the creepiness of the attraction.
It does, and I think it does a good job of telling you this is going to be a scary event, which it is, and it needed to be like that. Needed to be said before you got on there.
It was like the only warning. There was the sign on the ride entrance that said, this ride's a little scary.
Yeah.
But most people walk right on past that, baby.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we all expected it to still be a Disney ride in its core, so not going to traumatize us. But a lot of us as children were traumatized by this attraction that are like my age now.
Yeah, was this more or less traumatizing to you than the it's tough to be a bug?
It was more traumatizing than It's Tough to Be a Bug. I'm not sure I would say it's a worse attraction
Yeah.
than It's Tough to Be a Bug. More traumatizing though, especially for those going into it without knowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
I don't think anybody expected a truly terrifying experience to come out of Tomorrowland.
I know. It was also
in the Magic
I
Kingdom.
know Magic Kingdom was just the wrong park for this
Maybe
ride.
Hollywood Studios would have worked back,
Exactly. It you know,
to
next
show you a horror.
next to a Tower of Terror rock and roller coaster, it seems
Yeah.
like it's not that big of a stretch to
Yeah,
have like
right,
an alien encounter.
right.
But next to the people mover, next to the carousel of
Yeah.
progress.
This is the future. What?
Yeah. Oh God, run.
Yeah.
The next one that I have on here is a blast from the past. Is a personal favorite of my podcast co-host Morgan.
Yes.
It's Delta Dreamflight.
I love Delta Dreamflight, and I love their cloudy sign.
Their cloudy sign is it just evokes such a nice, like, pleasant, relaxing kind of vibe. Paired with the like script font that they chose.
Yeah.
It just is a good representation of the Delta Dreamflight vibe. I also like that it has a separate sign that's on one of those classic angular Tomorrowland kind of spiky signs. And it's like it's got the oval version of the
Yes.
attraction logo to complement the marquee sign above the entrance. And I like that it has both. And I like that it's in the Tomorrowland color scheme. There's just a lot about it that's very pleasing to me.
Yes, and it's very pleasing to me also, and it does definitely tell you again on this one that you're going into a calm,
Yes.
nice, but you know what I mean?
The good part about flying.
Yes.
There's a lot of commotion about like taking a flight, but when you're like cruising above the clouds
Yeah.
and looking out the window, there is like a serene feeling to
Mhm.
that. And I feel like both the attraction Delta Dreamflight and this attraction sign try to capture some of that, relaxing majesty. Does a good job.
Absolutely.
Go Delta Dreamflight. I also have on here for extinct attraction signs the Honey I Shrunk the Audience marquee.
I would definitely include that one.
Yes, this one I think is underappreciated in the history of attraction signs, but it had the mighty, well, no, not that, there's a name for this contraption up here, but it's the shrink thing, the shrink gun ray thing,
Right.
that is within the story of the ride, and it is, it's shooting its laser at the lettering of Honey I Shrunk
And
the
it
Audience.
was like glittery, right?
Yeah, these gold ray blast details that surround the sign were this gold glitter that really glistened in the sunlight.
Okay.
Very pretty.
So I do have one to add. Do you have more?
No, I do have more, but please add.
Okay, so I do this, and it's because this kind of reminds me of this, although this one's better. But the Primeval Whirl signs is one that I would. But we mentioned that on the non-attraction signs because I was talking about the signs within it.
Yes, within the actual coaster.
Yes, but the sign itself that tells you that you're about to enter the Primeval Whirl is also fun in a carnival, like, I don't know.
No,
you explain it.
It is fun and like a carnival. It's like a cutout type of
Comic
situation.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is part of the charm of the area.
Right.
It also features a ride car with one of the dinosaurs riding the attraction, which is such fun.
Yes.
And then the lettering itself has, a bunch of detail that's meant to look like carnival lights.
Yeah.
Within. And I think all of that is it's got this mid-century sensibility to it, but it's got a really fun color story and it's a really splashy, action-packed kind of thing, which I really think works for the ride. I totally forgot about this one, but yes, these are definitely the Primeval Whirl. All the signs are like awesome.
Out of the ones you've mentioned so far, though, I think the Honey I Shrunk the Audience one.
I love
that
one.
Was such a cool sign. I didn't even like a lot of these that you've mentioned. I didn't even love the ride.
We have never even mentioned some of these attractions, I don't think, but they've got excellent signs. You got to separate the sign from the attraction.
I mean, I was fine with that Honey, I Shrunk the Audience eventually.
Yes. It took yeah, and even then I would scoot forward to avoid certain
Yes.
portions of the attraction. The next one on my list of extinct ones is the Great Movie Ride sign.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Uh,
This is one of my favorite signs of all time.
Absolutely, an iconic sign, perfectly told the story of the classic cinema vibes of
This
the
is something I put
attraction.
on a shirt quite a bit. This
Yes,
sign.
yes, and I definitely see why people want it. It's in that gorgeous Art Deco style, and it had neon. It had neon tubing in it for the nighttime, which made
Yes.
it glow in a completely different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love everything about the
I
sign.
love everything about it too. So old Hollywood.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so good, so so good. And then the last one I have on here is the original Muppet Vision 3D
Well, that's not
sign
extinct.
from Hollywood Studios. And the reason that this is on the extinct list is because this sign is actually extinct. They took down the classic Henson's Muppet Vision 3D sign that featured the logo of the attraction, Kermit the Frog, and a director's clapboard. When the area was converted from Muppet's Courtyard to the current Grand Avenue, and they replaced it with a marquee sign.
I like the marquee sign though. This would be in my honorable mentions.
Yes, it is a cute sign. I do
Hmm.
like it very much. Let me tell you why I preferred the original version.
I mean, Kermit's in it.
Kermit is heavily featured, which I do love. I cannot lie.
Yeah.
I love the color story of the
Hmm.
original because it's that classic yellow and red combination that was all over the original MGM studios. Just fit so well into the studio vibe. And when it was converted to the Grand Arts Theater version that we currently have now, the attraction was retitled to eliminate Jim Henson's name
Oh,
from the attraction, which I
why?
do not like. I don't know why,
I
and
don't.
Disney never
Yeah.
mentioned why,
Oh,
but I don't like that. So for those reasons, I prefer this classic one.
sure.
And I also just think it's such a cute
It
representation of the
is.
ride.
It is.
Very cute. It's got a lot more personality than the current version. The
Hmm.
current version is very aesthetically pleasing. There's a lot that I actually really do like about it.
Yeah, like
It's
you're
just
going into a show.
yes,
Yeah.
and I like the lights on it.
Yes,
Very
I do
cute.
too.
But there's a certain whimsy to the original that I
Yes,
really enjoy as well.
I agree. Was that painted onto the wall?
I believe this is a
It's
sign.
Kermit in front of a clapboard, and it says Muppet Vision 3D with Jim Henson's over Kermit.
Yes, and there's like the corner of a 3D film reel surrounding the word 3D. I will say it's not the most dimensional sign. It appears to be very flat. I
Hmm.
believe the word Jim Henson's, it may be lettering that's like attached to the wall,
Okay.
and then
I
the
know
actual
in that area
sign.
they did a lot of painting on those walls.
Yes, which actually was something I really loved
Yeah.
about that area before they covered up most of the paint. You can see a little bit better in the photograph that we're looking at now. It is a sign because it does cast a shadow.
Got it.
But the word Jim Henson's, maybe, I can't tell, it might be paint
Okay.
on there. But yeah, so anyway, those are just some of the signs that are no longer with us that we wanted to kind of mention.
Yeah.
But we have plenty that you can see if you were to visit the parks right now today.
Yep.
What's the first on your list,
So we're
Morgan?
starting with number 10.
Yes, let's start with number 10.
Starting with number 10, I put Jungle Cruise,
Yeah.
and it has a lot to do with the feeling of the area, and also the fact that they convert it into Jingle Cruise with the addition of a
Yes.
little like I that they just stick up over the U like it's an afterthought, which
Yes.
cracks me up. You know what I mean? Like the thought process of it.
I love it too because it's so in the vibe of Jungle Cruise where
Yes.
everything is falling apart and
And
a
it's just
mess.
like some teenagers are running the ship. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that is such a good one. This was definitely, I believe this was on my honorable mentions. Oh, I deleted my honorable mentions. I think
That's okay.
yeah,
When we get to number 1, I think we'll remember,
right, yeah. I do think Jungle Cruise was on there though because this sign is so Adventureland and so right for
Yes.
the the circumstance that it's in here. Yep, it was on my honorable mentions. All right. Would you like me to give my number 10? I feel like
Absolutely.
this might be higher on your list, but I'm going to give it a shot. It's Mickey's Filler Magic.
It's not. It's not on my list. Yep.
Really? Did you consider it?
Yes.
Yes, this ended up on my list for one reason. Well, for several reasons, and I'll get into it. But the thing that really made me think, oh, yes, I really need this one to be on the list is because of the Mickey Mouse that's on top of the
Yeah.
attraction sign. It is very cute. I'll describe the sign a little bit. Uh, it's above, it's on the front of an awning that extends out from the show building, and it's cemented into the ground by these four golden flagpoles,
Hmm.
and it's a banner that's kind of suspended onto those flagpoles. It's an all gold banner with a blue trim. It says Mickey's PhilharMagic in like a medieval kind of font, with a raised font profile, and then it's got these darker gold music note embellishments all around the actual sign itself. And all of it comes together. Oh, I'm sorry. And above that is Mickey Mouse in his conductor outfit as a small figure, holding his conductor's wand and wearing the hat that the attraction kind of centers around. And then behind him, a central tent pole spikes into the sky with a red flag on the top and then a crown detailing, because that this is the Fantasyland Theater.
Right.
So all of it comes together to be this super Magic Kingdom, super
Fantasyland.
Fantasyland,
Yes.
really kind of
So Fantasyland.
yeah. It is really. It's
I mean,
just,
the colors.
it's beautiful. It
Yes.
reminds me of old school Disneyland. It reminds me, it puts you so much into Magic Kingdom between the lettering and the color story.
Mm.
And I like that the flagpoles are at these kind of whimsically austere angles,
Yeah.
because it adds a sense of cartoonish whimsy that the attraction itself does delve into quite a bit. I think this is a really cute sign, and it makes me nostalgic for the 2000s because it's got a gold, glittery, shimmery finish to the banner of the sign
Hmm.
that really screams the happiest celebration on earth
Yes.
to me.
Yes.
So I love this one personally.
Yes. I love that one too. That was a great one.
Yes. I love that PhilharMagic sign. What is your number 9?
My number 9 is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Was this on your list?
It is.
So this is a pirate sail, like a ship sail.
Yes.
Yes. And it perfectly fits in. It uses the font that we all associate with Pirates of the Caribbean. And I don't know, it's just kind of it's perfect because it's almost like not a sign. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's a ship sail. So is that the one you were referring to when you were thinking of it?
It is the one that I was referring to.
Because there
when I
are
was
multiple
thinking of it.
signs for a lot of these.
Yeah, it's true. This is definitely the one that you're describing, the ship sail, is the one I associate most with our version of Pirates of the Caribbean. So I do think it is the sign. I do think this sign used to be different, and that is the sign that we got when the attraction received the Johnny Depp update, because it's the movie font, I believe. But I think this is the most iconic version of our Pirates of the Caribbean sign.
Well, yes, and it's so like big and
yeah.
It just screams like adventure.
And it's on, like you said, it being on a ship mast with the crow's nest for the lookout is such a cool, presentation of an attraction sign.
Yeah.
You got to give it up for the creativity of that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really, really cool. One of my favorite parts about walking through that area of Adventureland is getting to see how cool the sign is.
Yes.
I did have that. That was my number 4.
See, so now you can pop your honorable mentions in.
Oh, yes. Good idea. My number 9 is Soarin'.
Okay.
The Soarin' attraction sign at Epcot is actually, in my mind, kind of similar to the Delta Dreamflight sign, just kind of in an updated way.
Yeah, I almost said that, and then I didn't say it because I didn't want to, in case you were going to talk about it.
Yes.
I like that it's almost like an Easter egg. Go on.
Yeah, it's almost like a callback to Delta Dreamflight in a way that I really, really like. When this first opened, it was just called Soarin', and it had a little sign underneath it that said "Now taking flight." They took out the "Now taking flight," and now it says "Soarin' around the world."
Mm.
I like my favorite detail of the sign is that there are blue in-bed lights behind the first layer of the cloud facade that
I love that.
surrounds the Soarin' logo.
Gives it kind of a glowy look.
Yeah, and so it glows blue when it kind of shines onto the clouds behind that first set, and it makes for a really cool, very pleasing visual effect. I also like how bubbly the clouds are all around the Soarin' typeface, and I like that it incorporates the horizontal swoosh and the flight arrow icon that we associate so closely with Soarin' that I think is meant to look like the hang glider
Yeah. I
that
was
you
gonna
kind of
say you
saw.
said flight arrow, and I was like, you mean the hang glider?
Yeah, it's like the shape of the hang glider that you
Yeah.
soar on, and I think that it's a really this shape of sign is very cool. I like the sign a lot.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, so that's
Uh,
number 9.
okay. So my number 8 is actually Mission Space.
Whoa,
Is this
yes,
on your list?
yes. This is my number 3.
Okay. Yeah. This is a fantastic one.
Amazing sign.
So yeah, this is like an over the top sign where there is a
Ah,
rocket
so
like
good.
going underneath it, and it is lit up. They used, I read how many shades of red they used, but I forgot. But it's like
Really
it's a ridiculous amount of shades of red that they use.
cool.
The A is bigger than the SP and the CE. I just love the way this comes together in such an exciting way.
It is very exciting. It's actually, I think, there's so many things I love about it. Number one is that it's on a rotating planet.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Number two is the big old streak of light that
Mm.
the shuttle is leaving behind it to underscore the mission space attraction. And then my favorite thing actually about this sign is even if you remove all that, the mission space logo is
Uh-huh.
like incredible. It's so good. It's got a sans serif mission, and then the space is created by this interlinking futuristic custom font that reminds me so much of the original Epcot Center font because it's the same kind of interlinking premise.
Yeah, good point.
It's such a good vibe.
Yeah.
It works so nicely. Oh my gosh, this is such a good one. And it's like you were saying with some of the other attractions, these attractions might not make, top attraction lists when we're doing those kinds of things, but you got to give it up for an incredible ride
Yeah.
sign.
Well, I actually like this ride a lot, but yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. We are not talking, we're not focusing on the ride itself. We're just talking about the signs and how much
Yeah,
effort is put into it.
such a good one.
This whole episode is going to be like have to be more you because you've got like the design background and the graphic background and stuff like that. But it I do appreciate that we've got definitely some overlapping stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like a good sign is a good sign, and
Yeah.
you can know it from the second that
I'm
you
just
look
not
at it.
as good at describing it as you are. So I'm gonna let you
I'm happy to help with because
the
what
technical terms and stuff like that.
well, yeah, I mean, it just is something that I luckily through designing graphics for so many years, it does help me to appreciate some of the more technical facets of the signs a little bit
And I'm like, oh, it's
more.
shiny.
But honestly, though, that's one of my favorite parts about some of these signs, though, is like
Yeah.
the lights or the glitter or whatever they choose to use. It
Yeah.
always adds such a nice little pop. I don't necessarily. I'm just realizing now that all of my favorite attraction signs have clouds in them. What's that all about? My next one is Peter Pan's Flight, and
Okay,
it's
awesome.
a similar situation where it's like these layers of clouds,
Mhm.
similar to Soarin' or Delta Dream Flight. But this one also has Peter Pan's Flight in like a medieval kind of font, same Fantasyland type of font style as the PhilharMagic one. But it's also got figures of Michael, John, and Wendy and Peter kind of extruding out from the sign. Oh, and Tinkerbell.
I
Can't
love
forget
it.
her.
Yeah.
They're like popping out, and then the Tower of London is kind of sticking out from the top as well while they fly around it. And I think there's a lot of whimsy in it, and I think it's got a lot of great dimension. I like that they like pop out from the side. That's really cool.
Yes. I love the dimension to it as well. I think that that's like the main thing that really draws me to that one.
Yeah, it's magical.
Yeah, it's not like a flat sign. It's really, again, telling the story. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did this make your list at all?
I put it on an honorable mention.
Yes.
Yes, because I kind of remembered it at the end.
Alrighty.
All right.
That was my number 8.
Okay, perfect. My next one is the Carousel of Progress.
No kidding. That's your number 7?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh, amazing.
Wait, have we ever done? Well, yeah, surely
I'm sure.
we have.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wow. Lucky number 7, the Carousel of Progress. And you're talking about the current version of the side.
I am. Right until you just said that, I hadn't even thought about the past version. Were you talking about the past version?
I am talking about this version, the current version. I really do enjoy it. But the past version I also really do enjoy. So honestly, I could go for either.
Okay, yeah. So the past version, this is the past version?
Yes.
Oh, funny. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, this gear is
I guess
really
it's just
cool.
imprinted in my head.
You know what? This gear sign, I know, right? Because this was it for so many years.
Yes, and this is when I do shirt designs and dish towel designs and stuff like that, and this is like what I use when I'm doing a Carousel of Progress. Like if I have a design where it says the Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Then it's got the gear. Anyway,
I've got that one. I love that one. You made that for me.
Oh, did I?
Yes, that is one of my go-to around the house beauties. But I also always wear it to the Magic Kingdom, I feel.
Yeah.
The purple one that you're talking about, so good. What is it? The colors are
and the gear.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense to me. It's nostalgic. Yes.
The color profile is so awesome.
It is.
You know what it reminds me of? It's got this kind of vaguely Art Nouveau typeface going on. And that in combination with the gears of it all takes me to Innoventions in Epcot in the 90s. It's got a very similar
It does have an
feel.
Epcot vibe for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And
a little figment.
Yeah, literally. It does definitely give me that same kind of energy. Maybe that's what I like so much about it. It definitely does. The new one, it takes a little bit more of a minimalist, futuristic approach.
Yeah.
Which I definitely don't mind. But also in its own way, isn't this one also very Epcot to you?
Yeah, totally.
In kind of an 80s Epcot way. It's also incorporates a new icon which resembles the theater itself in its different sections, and that to me is very Epcot to have an attraction icon with the kind of the typeface.
How many people are putting that together? Nobody.
Oh, probably
not nobody.
No,
but
probably very. I don't know if a lot of people are.
I hadn't really thought about that until you mentioned it.
I feel like this new sign does not stand out nearly as much as the old one did. It almost
which is why that's the one I was thinking of.
Probably because this one kind of blends into all the gray of Tomorrowland. You know what I mean? It doesn't really pop. This one, the purple one, the like gear one, that one you could see from a mile away.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit more whimsical.
Yes.
It's a little more Disney to me in kind of a fun way. But, in the same way that the Carousel Progress is a very futurism, progress land type of thing, I get why they decided to go a more Epcot streamlined direction, but I do miss the whimsy of this one.
Yes.
Of the 2000s one.
Should I go on to my number 6?
Yeah, go for it.
My number 6 is the larger than life Indiana Jones epic stunt spectacular sign.
Oh, that's a really good sign. I didn't even think about this one.
It's so big.
I should have put this on my list.
Ginormous.
Remember when we said that this was going to happen?
Oh, yeah. We did. We predicted this.
It definitely happened. I totally forgot about this
This is like... This might be the biggest sign.
I know. This is
all
huge.
Of the parks.
I can't think of a bigger one.
Yeah. So it has the Indiana Jones logo with the gradient.
Oh, classic.
And then a ginormous, like cardboard cutout, although it's not cardboard,
right? Of
Indiana Jones. Is this Harrison Ford specifically? It's got to be, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a painting, but it looks like I think it's a painting of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is such a good sign.
Yeah, it's so awesome. He's like,
Oh, he's got his whip.
he's got his whip. Yeah, there's adventurous things happening just in this sign. And then underneath it says Epic Stunt Show. You could miss that part. It's fine.
I honestly, yeah, I barely even noticed the Epic Stunt Spectacular
Yeah,
subtitle
but that's
there.
okay because you know.
Oh yeah, you know where you're at.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do like this show. We don't go to it very often. I tried to go. Oh my God. I
Oh
tried
my
to go. There was
gosh.
one day that I went. I can't remember why it was so busy, but it was so incredibly busy. It was unbelievable. And I was like, well, that's fine. We'll go to the Indiana Jones show because it's never that busy. And it was like sold out. Not sold out.
I
It was
know.
so full.
You were telling me
They were
this, and I
packed.
was like, I didn't even know that happened
Yeah.
at the Indiana Jones
I didn't know
show.
either. We were trying to go. So that's how busy that day was. That was wild.
Yeah, if the park is really busy and you're trying to see the Indiana Jones show, I guess plan accordingly.
If the Indiana Jones show you can't get into because it's packed, like it's so full that they're not letting anybody else in, it's a bad day to be there.
Time to pick a different park.
Yeah.
I hope you got park hoppers. sis.
Yeah. Or have a hotel day. Try again tomorrow.
Yeah, that does seem insanely busy.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready for number 6?
I sure am.
I've got dinosaur.
Ooh, a dinosaur. Oh my gosh. That was on my list. I don't know how it's not on my list. So yeah, let's just go with it.
Well, I'm glad we get the chance to discuss. 'cause
Let's discuss
we
because
won't have
wow.
very much longer to appreciate how awesome the sign
It'll change
is.
your extinct list.
It will. It will end up extinct, which I guess is where dinosaurs belong, if you think about it. So it's really rational. But what I like so much
He
about
jokes to keep from crying.
I love this ride. What I like so much about this sign is dimension, like the
Mhm.
Peter Pan sign. We've got a lot going on. In the foreground, there are these giant boulders emerging from some type of extinction event-like explosion that serves as the backing to the dinosaur logo.
I will say that the sign doesn't match the background story
No, not really.
because the background story is that this is a museum.
Yeah. So the sign feels a little bit more Chester and Hester's
Yeah.
Dinorama.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the argument could be made that this is the sign for the museum exhibit dinosaur, although that doesn't really mash up with the pre-show narrative.
It's like the building and the little statues outside the building, and then the exhibits when you walk in the building are also like formal natural science museum.
Yeah.
And this sign is like, boom, you're gonna get killed.
I know it doesn't. It doesn't translate at all. If we
Yeah.
were doing this now, Disney, I don't think would do it.
I mean,
like
I
this.
get it because they have to tell you before you go in there that this is going to be an exciting adventure.
I guess, but when they do Flight of Passage, their sign is wicker. So what does that mean?
True.
And when they do Rise of the Resistance, their sign is practically nothing.
Practically nothing. I was thinking about those, like some of those signs for the
Yeah.
newer rides.
Concept
I'm like,
signs.
wow, this is really
They've gone a new
weirdly-
direction
yeah,
with
yeah.
sign. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, they have
I
the
know, didn't make my list. My favorite ride.
they have a spaceship,
Yeah.
but the actual attraction
But the spaceship's
sign.
not the sign.
I know. It's like we've gotten into this new territory where they're choosing icons to be like
Well,
attraction
All right,
signs.
that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's more immersive, I guess, because you avoid problems like this of
Yeah.
like everything is a museum and then this is a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
But I kind of miss the whimsy of something like this.
Yes,
because
yes.
Look how fun. We've got all these spiky explosion bits coming out, and then there's a dinosaur roaring in
It
the
is
background.
so
of the
extra.
explosion.
It is so extra.
It is so extra. It's like an action movie comic book type of situation,
Yeah.
to be honest. But it also includes the official tagline of the line, "It's fast, it's a blast, it's in the past."
Yep.
Pretty fun. I don't know if it does anymore. No, it does. It's just really small. But yeah, I like this sign a lot. It's very colorful, and I wanted to throw it out there for this list.
Okay, awesome.
Yep, that was my number 6.
Okay, so my number 6 is Slinky Dog Dash.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about this one.
Wait, if you don't remember it off the top of your head, wait till you see it.
No.
It's so cute.
Show me.
So it is.
Oh yeah.
It is like a a drawing that Andy made of Slinky Dog on like a spiral bound notebook, right?
Yeah.
And he drew Slinky Dog, but in the middle he wrote Slinky Dog. It's very clearly a child's drawing, right? And
Yeah.
then they cut the word dash out of a toy, like it looks like the Hot Wheels font.
Right.
So it's like they took the word wheels out of Hot Wheels, but it says dash. You know what I mean? Because this isn't, they can't use Hot Wheels.
Gosh,
and then they taped the word dash to the drawing of Slinky Dog. So it is wildly creative.
Yes.
It is
love
like
it.
a little kid made a roller coaster, and this is how they, made the sign for it.
Which is the story of the
Which
ride.
is the story.
He takes his
perfect.
Hot Wheels tracks.
Yes.
And he puts Slinky Dog and he makes a roller coaster.
Yes.
And this tells that story. It's got so much character.
It's incredible how well it tells the story without without
saying a
without
word.
saying anything. Yeah.
It's just the very design of it tells you everything you need to know, which is so. And the fact that it's loose leaf paper and the edge of the paper looks like it was torn out of the notebook.
Yes.
All of that detail is so good.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
love it.
So cute. I love the fake tape. It's unbelievable. It's just so creative. I'm a little mind blown about the whole thing.
Yeah, it is so good. I completely forgot about that one, and honestly, if you asked me to describe the sign for Slinky Dog Dash, I don't know off the top of my head that I would have been able to.
Well, it's back a ways. It's kind of off the beaten path of Toy Story Land.
You're right. You have to walk down a bridge to
right.
get over
And
there.
the queue for Slinky Dog Dash is always such a nightmare that we rarely go on it, even though it's a fantastic ride.
Yeah.
So we don't. A lot of things I think accidentally imprint on our mind because we walk by them so often, but this just isn't one of those things.
It's true, yeah. It's definitely, unless you're walking up to it about to do the ride,
right?
You don't really get the opportunity.
But for me, when I have seen it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's just the most creative thing ever.
Oh, that is really good.
Yeah.
It takes the idea of childlike imagination and just takes the pure essence of that and translates it into the best version of it. You can tell it's a children's drawing, but you can also clearly see that Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
You can clearly
it's
read
the
yeah, right. That's a good drawing child.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a good one.
Yes. It's very heartwarming.
It is. It's so cute.
Yes.
He taped that on there.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, go on.
Really good one. All right, my number 5 is The Twilight Zone.
Oh my
Tower
god, number
Terror.
5. This is my number 1.
Really?
I
see
love
why. This
that
is
it's like
so
a
good.
shape-shifting, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm obsessed with the fact that it changes from one thing to another.
I know.
Go on.
2 signs in one. No, that's what I love about it too. That same thing. Because when it's daytime or when it's not showing its second form, let's say, it says the Hollywood Tower Hotel, which is the name of the hotel that the ride takes place in.
So this is so backstory oriented, and I love that.
Yes.
I do love the dinosaur sign for all the reasons we talked about, but this, how they stuck to the story, love that.
Really committed to the storyline.
Yes, this could be a sign in front of a hotel in Hollywood from the 1920s.
It's got a very classic, very classy serif font for the Hollywood Tower Hotel, but then there's inline light that illuminates to show the words The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
They came from another dimension.
Yeah, and it flashed lightning onto it. It tells the story, it's creepy, it's eerie, it does all the things. And it's a 2-for-1. It's like a reveal of a sign.
Yes, exactly.
It's under the facade of a beautiful
hotel. Here's the backstory,
hotel.
and then here's the creepy, eerie thing that's going to magically happen to make this a horror.
I see why this is your number 1.
Yeah,
this is a very convincingly amazing sign.
Yes.
Very, very cool.
And magical.
Yes, it's got that extra level.
A lot of the signs have extra, but this one's like actually has magic to me.
Yeah, I'm looking at a GIF of it illuminating right now, and it's
I
giving me the
know.
chills because it's so good.
It's so amazing. If you haven't seen this at night, either A, go see it, or B, look it up so you can see how it transforms from the Hollywood Tower Hotel to the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, because yeah, it gives you chills.
It's so thoughtful and so good. And it's even got, it's on like a stone slab, and it's got the HHH Hollywood Tower Hotel
logo,
insignia
which I
in
love.
the top,
Yeah.
the like monogram looking thing.
Yeah.
And that is such a good, like everything about the sign is amazing.
Yeah.
Everything about it is so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number one for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you should go next though.
Okay.
Because that was was my number 5.
Okay, so my number 4 is the seas. Yeah, the seas with Nemo and friends, and it is just extra. Yeah. So
budget.
Yeah.
It's got money.
Right? It has the seagulls. It has a water feature. It has the logo.
I know.
It is just
for signs usually don't get animated figures like animatronics.
This is actually little animatronics. They're saying mine and moving.
They move their mouth, they turn their head. They're like little articulated figures.
I'm not sure I can even think of another sign that has an animatronic that's part of it,
which
is
fancy.
why this was so high on my list.
Definitely.
I love, like you say, the color story that matches the Nemo colors that they use. I love the font. Like, I just love everything about it. It's also a very good, it's a very good photo spot.
Yeah, no, it is a really, I think we've taken pictures.
Yeah, I think everybody has.
It's a cute little place to take a picture.
Yeah.
I also love when they did the transition from the Living Seas Pavilion to the Seas with Nemo and Friends. They added characters to the wall,
me
behind the like curved wall. And those are very cute. I like that the bubbles of the attraction sign and the color palette kind of tie it to the mural on the wall behind it, with all the sloping, colorful waves going on. I think it makes for a really good complement.
Yes. My guess is when they did this, because this had previously been an attraction that was not crazy popular, they didn't want, and the location of this area is kind of, you could miss it.
You could.
And so they wanted to make this over the top sign with like animatronics that are making noise and a water feature, so you cannot miss it.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it works.
It does, yeah. You can hear them from pretty far away.
Yep.
If you've made it to the land, then you at least have this in your
This will draw you in, where otherwise you'd have kind of no reason to go back there.
Yeah, because it's like
you're not going to that restaurant
corner, the coral reef. Yeah, I guess most
if
people
you are, you shouldn't be, probably. Unless they've changed their menu.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
As of today, they have not.
Right. Hopefully.
Well, last time I checked. But anyway.
That'll be great news when they update that. We'll be the first in line.
Yes.
All right. So we've actually already covered my number 4 and number 3, which were Pirates and Mission Space.
Okay.
Which takes us to my number 2. Are you ready?
I am ready.
My number 2 is Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, that's also my number 2.
Starring Aerosmith.
Oh my gosh. I just said extra about Nemo, but this one takes the cake.
I know. There's nothing more extra than this. Where to even begin?
Where to begin? I was like...
There's so much to love about it.
Yes. And the sign, this is a sign that goes on for so long. I take back what I said about the Indiana Jones sign. That might be the tallest sign. This is the biggest sign.
Yeah, this is like...
if you count everything.
The boundary of what is the sign and what is like... area decoration.
But it's all connected.
Yeah, I know. It's really blurred because everything is attached.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to delineate what goes where. But even the sign itself, with the features that are directly part of the sign, I think are enough to warrant it as an amazing one. Because let me describe. You've got this, you're on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood Studios, and you're walking underneath this very, like, studio Hollywood Art Deco facade. It's a curved arch, and it says in art deco font, G-Force Records presents Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. And then beneath that, there is a giant guitar head with all of its features. And then on the guitar head, riding on the strings upside down, there's a blue convertible.
With people in it.
With people in it raising their hands like they're on a roller coaster. And the guitar neck is actually, in fact, a super long, twisting, winding metal sculpture that then ends much further back into the ride area as it connects to a red Fender guitar that is on the ground in front of the show building.
Yeah.
So all of that is the attraction sign?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think it's because it's all connected, it has to all be considered the sign.
I think this is like incredible.
This is probably the most intricate design sign.
It's like a whole huge, I mean, I can't even begin to express how like sweeping the like motion of the guitar are. It's like really, it's mind-blowingly cool.
Yes.
Really, really cool. There's a very ugly version of this over at Disneyland Paris, or at least there was, that had this like, I don't know how I would describe the color story going on. It's like groovy, washed out rainbow appearance going on in the Paris version.
They have a version of this?
They did. Now it's an Ant-Man, Iron Man roller coaster. Maybe just Iron Man.
Oh,
now it's a Marvel roller coaster. So they've
it.
rethemed it. But yeah, they had a version of this in Disney Studio Park.
Clearly that changed before I became a travel agent because I did not know that.
Yeah, this was a while ago that they closed this one, several years back now. But yeah, the version that we have, I'm glad we have it because the attraction sign is like incredible.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Some of our favorite signs are going away soon.
Yeah.
This one was really high on both of our lists.
Yeah. Well, they might not take it away. They could just throw some Muppets instead of people in there or something.
They should put Muppets in there.
I know.
Put Muppets in the car. Okay,
yeah, they could just add the fur on top of the people. It wouldn't even.
Are there people in it anymore?
Aren't there?
I'm seeing a lot of pictures where there are no people.
Oh, okay. Maybe
there are no people.
Maybe I imagined that.
Yeah, it definitely
that happens.
I hope they put Muppets in there.
Your brain will just insert stuff.
If they don't put Muppets in there, I'll be pretty disappointed because that's such a good idea.
And then they could just leave it. Right. You know what I mean? Because it's still a music-themed roller coaster as far as we know.
Yeah. And they could even put a Muppet on top of this arch, too. Put somebody over there, put a couple in there.
Yeah, totally. I hope they leave it. I hope they leave the sign. I would imagine that they would,
Me too, because there's a lot that goes into the sign. Mm-hmm. That whole big guitar as well.
Yeah.
All right, that was my number 2. So we did your number 1, right?
Yes, but I still have a number 3.
You still have... Oh, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Expedition Everest.
Really?
So, and this is not extra, you guys.
No.
So, but what I love about this is how clever it is. Mm-hmm. So it is just... If you haven't, you're not going to get this unless you've heard the episode of the podcast that we recorded about the history of Expedition Everest.
That's so true.
So if you haven't heard that, it is fascinating. It is by far one of my favorite podcast episodes we've ever done.
There's a lot going on.
Because it was so fascinating. But a real quick snapshot of the history is that this ride is supposed to be these 2 men are taking over a tea train and turning it into a tourist trap where you go to the Forbidden Mountain, but the locals are telling you should beware of this Yeti.
Right.
And that you shouldn't do this. You're not supposed to go to the Forbidden Mountain because it's protected by the Yeti.
Right.
Okay. So the sign for it is just a banner that these 2 guys put up in like a font that makes you feel like you're in Nepal, but it's mostly covering a sign that says beware the legend of the Forbidden Mountain. So it's like covering but not entirely covering, so you can see it, a sign from the locals saying do not go here.
Right.
So it is very much telling the backstory of this that most people don't even know. And I love that, and I think that's clever, and I just am kind of I'm obsessed with them telling the backstory in this way,
There's so much I
even though most
love.
people don't even get it.
I know. It's
You
like,
have to hear that episode, or you would have had to look into it or research it. Yeah,
yeah, or unless you like really, I guess, studied the queue and were
and are
able
very
to,
detail oriented. You were able to put
yes.
it together yourself. You go all the time. Yeah,
Right, yeah, if you're one of those people. But other than that, it definitely, I think, flies over heads. There's so much to love about this. Number one is that the rocks somewhat resemble like the mountain type structure going on,
yeah.
which is really cool. It's got like a tribal mask type situation or
They
ornamentation going on
yeah,
over the
the
top.
locals would put up these kind of like cloth flags and stuff like that, and these kind of yeah. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
Icons, yeah.
Oh, that looks like a mountains. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like a little bit of like it's meant to be creature and the mountains, or maybe represented
Maybe,
in that.
yeah.
But something I love about this is although the banner covers the word "beware" in the sign behind the banner, you get Expedition Everest on the banner itself, and then the subtitle, "The Legend of the Forbidden Mountain."
Right.
It's like a two for
And
one.
only the top half of the word beware is covered so that you will know. It's not like
Right.
you've got to peek behind a curtain or something like that. You know that this is covering this. Yeah. So you can kind of infer that the backstory is that the locals are telling you no, don't do
Yes,
this.
and it's so creative to say, well, Beware obviously isn't part of the attraction title, but to get Expedition Everest and The
The
Legend of
legend.
the Forbidden
Yeah.
Mountain, they cover the Beware, The Legend of the Forbidden Mountain sign with the banner. Oh, it's just so
Oh,
good,
it's
so
so
clever,
clever. Yes.
amazing. And I also, a small detail is that I love the eyes in the word expedition on this banner
Yeah.
so much because they almost look like a little torch or
Yeah.
something. They've got like this kind of object like quality to them that I really love. I didn't have this on my list. It should have been, because the
Well,
more I
because it's
think of
not
it,
extra, you know what I mean? But it's just so clever.
yeah, it's very clever, and like you said, it tells the story so well.
Yeah.
Really, really, really
Anyway,
good. Okay, did you come up with any honorable mentions in the course of this
let
conversation?
me see. I don't think so. We talked about so much
You
stuff.
mentioned two of mine. The Seas
Okay.
and
Good.
Jungle Cruise were both honorable mentions of mine because those are so incredible.
Yeah. Nope. I'm pretty much covered there.
Okay,
I was a little surprised to not have the Haunted Mansion on my list, but because I love the font and the feel of it, but it's just so
I know.
yeah.
Little, it's
Yeah,
small, and it's
yeah.
also not very impressive. I could stand for a new Haunted Mansion sign.
Yeah, I could too, but I feel like they don't need it because the house is the sign. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's you see that house and you know.
I agree. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. You see the
Agreed.
spaceship,
And you know.
you know
And maybe
what's
that
up.
does make a lot of sense for them not to do like big signs with words on them. Like they don't have to worry about language and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't even have to deal with it because they already know.
Right.
Yeah, that does make sense. The only other one that I had on honorable mentions was Space Mountain, because Space Mountain has
It's an iconic sign.
it's got an iconic sign. It's not my favorite sign. I don't know. There's just nothing about it that I think if it
I
had.
started to put Tron because I love the teal neon.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It's such a cool color.
I know, but the sign itself,
It's fine.
it's
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah.
But the Space Mountain sign that we have, I like because I like the font a lot.
Mhm.
It's very like space agey, cool,
Mhm.
kind of 50s. But I think if there were like an icon of the mountain or something, I would like it more. Like right now, we're looking at an illustration that shows like the icon
Mhm.
of the mountain.
The building.
The
Yeah.
building itself, yeah. And I think it adds a lot to make it, I don't know, exciting. But just the word Space Mountain, and it's kind of whatever. But I do like the font, and I do like the color, so that's why it ended up on my honorable mentions.
Yeah, fair. It is iconic.
It is iconic. Like you
That
know
font
it right
is
away.
what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. The font like really tells the story there.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had for honorable mentions. What do you want me to do my number one?
Oh my God! Yes, you haven't done your number one.
No, I haven't done my
How has your number one not come up yet?
Oh, because my number one is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction sign is actually, I think, amazing.
It is a good sign.
I think it's my favorite my number one on this list because of a couple things. Number one, because it is animated at night,
Yeah.
which is very, very cool. It moves. Also, it's got an Art Deco kind of an Art Deco animated frame on the top, which is very, very cool, and reminds me very much of the load area sign that used to exist within the Great Movie Ride, and it's got the same color palette. So
Mhm.
all of that I really enjoy. The color palette itself is this pink, yellow, and teal color story that I think really goes with Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Looks great at the end of Hollywood Boulevard. I think Mickey and Minnie, they are in their new form of animation that resembles the current Mickey Mouse shorts. Um, and that's not my favorite renderings of them, but I do think they look very cute in neon on the sign.
The sign might be the best thing to have come from
I
Yeah.
actually agree.
from this.
I think that the sign like really complements the ride building. The sign itself is
I
very
love a
cool.
neon animated.
I know.
I know.
I know. It's hard to resist the how awesome a sign like that is.
Yeah.
Now, this attraction itself to me is it's cute and kind of whatever, but the sign itself I think is like iconic.
Yeah.
I love this sign.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
Really, really good sign.
Yeah. I didn't think of it because I just blocked this out.
I know. I think we've got big feelings about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, mostly because
We have
of
big
the show
feelings.
building.
We have big feelings about missing the Great Movie Ride.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah. So it's hard, but
hard.
You can't. It's hard to deny that the sign is.
it is a cool sign. Yeah.
Really good sign.
Yeah.
They also have a cool one at the Hollywood. I mean the Disneyland. Yes, version of this in Toontown. Theirs looks like a Art Deco theater cinema, but in cartoon form, which is kind of cool. But I actually do prefer ours.
Yeah.
Our sign is very very cool and very perfect for the show building that the attraction is housed in.
And kind of a nod to the Great Movie Ride in a
Yes.
little kind of way.
Yeah, which I definitely appreciate because hey, I'll take what I can get, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. All right. Did we have any other signs we wanted to mention?
No, that covers my list. If you guys have any you want to tell us about, please send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, I would love to hear people.
If we forgot anything.
Yeah, if we forgot anything, if anyone has any other favorite attraction signs, I just love hearing about them. I love talking about them because they're some of my favorite details of walking around the parks.
Yeah.
If you guys would like to reach out to us and let us know your favorite signs, you can either do that in the comments or you can reach out to us on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Neverland Navco.
Yes, we also have an Etsy store called Neverland Navigation where you can get custom shirts, dish towels, sweatshirts. You would just send us a message and on Etsy and let us know what you love. You love the Great Movie Ride sign. I can put that on a dish towel or t-shirt for you. This is also where you can see the shirts that I make, although they're all custom too, for any clients that I have that email me at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com and have me be their free travel agent.
Yeah, that's an awesome perk, not to mention great travel planning services. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye!
Bye!